with USC great and NFL stud Frosty Rucker.
The Trojans back in front.
And LAFB founder Ryan Dyrud on the Believe Podcast Network and LAFBnetwork.com. This is your destination for Los Angeles football.
Los Angeles. Good morning. Good morning. Happy game day. Dan Wolkenstein, what's up, my man? How you doing?
What is up? Happy game day. Let's go, Ryan. Oh.
How long have we been waiting to say that? It's game day.
Oh, it's been 84 years, it feels like.
That jersey's looking fresh, my friend. What is that, Herbie, or who you got?
This is the Herbie jersey. The yellow. Some people are sleeping on this, but man, this color is popping. Yeah. I love this color. I love it.
I cannot wait to see which jerseys each team wears tonight. But anyway, welcome in to the show, LAFB Live. We've done so much live stuff combined with Chargers Unleashed, with LAFB, with all this stuff. So it's hard to say. We took a break, but technically our Saturday morning program of LAFB Live has been on a little hiatus. So good to be back on a game day. I'm Ryan Dyrud. Steven is at a wedding, actually. So, game day.
Wedding season.
Apparently the bride and groom didn't care about first preseason game of the NFL season. But blessed to be joined by Dan Wolkenstein of Chargers Unleashed, part of the LA Football Network, to talk about this game coming up. Dean or Nick, possibly, of the Rams brothers, may be jumping on here as well throughout the program. We'll see. No guarantees, but we'll see. But my man, you're doing well. You're doing good.
I am good. I am so excited for this game tonight. I can't wait to see actual players, although most of the starters, the folks that we actually are looking to see game one of the regular season, might not be playing. But this game is going to be all about the depth, and I am here for it.
Yeah, I think McVay has said, I didn't see the presser if he said this exact number or he said a bunch of names and then the beat writers combined it all, but he said there will be 32 players not playing in tonight's game. So 22 starters plus 10 more. So basically a lot of people not playing, but we'll see depth there. And the Chargers, Brandon Staley as well, said that not many will be, or definitely probably no starters, but all the rookies will play, though. He did say, correct?
Yes. Well, I don't know if he said all rookies, but I know he said like Rashawn Slater's going to be playing. I'm pretty sure Josh Palmer is going to be there. Asante Samuel's going to be there. I don't know. I think Mark Webb technically isn't going to be there because I think he's still coming back from his injury. But for the most part, everyone that is looking to prove themselves should be there.
Yeah. And I think Rams, I'm trying to remember because I was trying to play catch up on all this week pressers, but I think most of the rookies will play because they're not slotted as starters on the depth chart yet.
Whereas, and good.
Yeah, as they should. I mean, especially like I know Rams fans are extremely excited to see Tutu Atwell, who was on the COVID list for pretty much all of training camp. Got off it like the last couple of days. So we really want to see what he does. A lot of question marks in the return game for both teams. So it's going to be fun to see who actually steps forward that. So we're going to get to all of it. Luckily, we got you kind of on the Charger side. I'll take the Rams side. It's fun when we cover both teams and they play each other. It makes it really easy to do a show.
This is lovely. I like it. And by the way, we're already getting all kinds of comments and stuff in this. So for folks who are watching live, feel free to engage, say hi, say what's up. It is wedding season. Yeah. Jake Hefner, my co-host, is actually on his way to a wedding himself.
Oh, wow. So, another bride and groom. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not, all these brides
Mr.
and grooms
Satin
are
Robe
selfish.
himself. There he is.
Stallion he is.
The stallion he is. Luckily, most of the wedding. So I have a bachelor party. I think you do. I have a bachelor party in 2 weeks. Luckily, so we're still in preseason there. It'll be week 3, but I will be on a bachelor party. And then I have like a bunch of weddings in October. So October is going to be an interesting month because we're in the thick of the season. And then your boy's going to be doing some live shows from the road or in like the groom's suite.
From the altar.
From the altar might be tricky. I don't know if I can do that. But definitely from the groom's suite when we're all pre-gaming, getting ready. I'll bring the equipment.
Yeah.
Get in the corner there.
For everyone who is watching preseason football right now, thank you for joining the show. While you're doing that, you're getting all kinds of things done at once. For folks who are at weddings today, do yourself a favor. Don't get in trouble from the bride and groom. Put the phone down, at least until the reception.
There you go. Yeah. Ceremony. Yeah. Don't do it during the ceremony. So, yeah, a lot of people pumped. Dude, I'm just happy. It's felt like every offseason feels long. For some reason, this one felt especially long. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because we were so in the thick of it. So much in-depth coverage when really nothing was going on. But it just felt way longer this year. Am I wrong in that, or does it feel the same every year? And we say it every year. It feels so long.
I don't know if I'm the minority here, but it flew by for me. Like looking back, it felt like it flew by. During it, sometimes it felt like it was going long, but I can't believe we're already at preseason game 1. But like, I can't speak for the Rams side, but like Chargers have had so many things going on that like there's always something that has caught the news, whether it's like a new coaching staff or the draft or free agency or who's going to be starting. Like there's just been so many storylines and getting to know this coaching staff that it doesn't feel like there's been an off season.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And I can't remember who I was talking to, if it was Jordan Rodriguez or someone, but it was basically in LA football in general. It's like, we're pretty blessed because both teams, and the Rams that you mentioned, the Chargers, the Rams have as well, obviously is kicking off, February with the trade of Matt Stafford. Okay. Always in the news. Like, I no disrespect, no trying to throw shade, but can you imagine covering like the Bengals? Nothing happens ever.
How's Joe Burrow's knee?
That's the storyline for 6 months. That's it. Why'd you take Penei Sewell or why didn't you take Penei Sewell to protect your franchise quarterback? That's it. Whereas at least we have all these crazy storylines to get into and new and intertwining things. So we're blessed to cover the LA teams.
Yeah, LA is getting gritty. I like this kind of battle for LA is kind of heating up. I know that started out when the whole Rams and Chargers came to LA, and then that kind of fizzled for a bit. But this LA kind of fight for LA thing, I think is going to start getting crazy. Because imagine if the Rams and Chargers start out 1-1, 2-0 each, come week 3, like LA is going to be hopping.
Yeah, it's Zach, more wedding season stuff. Yeah, we're in it, guys. Good luck. It's gonna be a tough year for all of us covering football. It's interesting, and we'll get to the game here in a minute, guys. I promise. But when you talk to Rams fans, there is no fight for LA. Like,
of course not.
Rams are LA. I mean, the Rams have such a Lakers vibe, and the Chargers have such a Clippers vibe. Like, I don't know if that's fair to say or not.
Me.
I'm not saying it in a bad way either, but that's just the vibe of the fan bases. Whereas I feel like the Chargers fans are like, hey, we don't care about the Rams. Like, cool. Like, yeah, we want to beat them. That's a rival, but we can live in the same space. Whereas the Rams just look down on Chargers fans.
Yeah, we're
sharing the stadium, but it is what it is. Both are in LA. I think there is somewhat of a fight because these teams are both very, very good. I won't say the moniker afterwards, but they're very, very good heading into the season. There's Super Bowl aspirations for the Rams, playoff aspirations for the Chargers. You have old Rams coaches on the Chargers squad now. There's just so much to intertwine the two. Both play at SoFi. It's a battle in a sense that it's just in the greatest city in the world. I'm going to say that, LA, the greatest city in the world, and two of the greatest teams now in the NFL playing at the greatest stadium in the world. It's a battle. I think it's fair to say, and I can't wait for it. And it starts today, baby.
Yes, it's gonna be interesting to see the fan base there because this is a home game for both teams.
So I'm glad you asked. I actually had a question for you. How many fans do you expect today? Do you think we'll see a sellout on a preseason game? Well,
I don't. I doubt there's going to be a sellout, but there's going to be a lot of people there. I can guarantee you that. If there were 34,000 people for a random Chargers scrimmage on a Sunday, I think there's going to be more than that for the preseason game.
Yeah, I agree. And when the Rams had their open practice, if you're hearing my daughter, she was
shout out Mia.
I was hoping we'd make it through, and clearly, so you'll see the ghost come in here in a minute. We'll battle through it though. That's what we do. We battle through. But yeah, and the Rams open practice right after minicamp, and same thing. They had about 40,000 there. So I'm very interested to see. I know the parking lots are basically sold out. The unfortunate thing about SoFi, as I learned, is there's only one tailgating parking lot. And most of those tickets went to season ticket holders. So it's very hard to get your hands on that tailgating lot. Confirmed. So I'll be parking off site, and then I'm going to see. So I'll report to everyone if you can meander into that tailgating, just obviously it's not a car, but maybe I'll just bring a backpack full of Brewery X and see if I can just sneak in there and mingle with the folks.
Ryan's about to be the best friend of everyone, just walking around handing out Brewery X. It's going to be great.
Exactly. That's what we got to do. So give the people what they want and help our friends out at Brewery X. So,
and that is Brewery X, because if you don't know you want it, you do once you try it. Exactly.
So, all right, Dan, well, let's get to the game here. A lot of storylines here. We just mentioned, no starters are playing pretty much for either team. maybe we'll see a few Chargers offensive linemen, maybe just not the main. I mean, maybe we'll see Filer, maybe we'll see Ibushi. I don't know for sure, but I definitely don't think we'll see the other three.
Nope.
So what's some storylines that you're looking out for the Chargers in this game? Maybe one per side: offense, defense, and special teams.
All right. Well, I'll kick special teams off first. Pun intended. We're going to see a kicking battle. I think this is a make or break next 3 days or 3 games, for Michael Badgley. I'm on record. I think Vizcaino is going to be the kicker come week 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has a stronger leg, and I think that helps on kickoffs as well, which Brandon Staley said has been part of the things he's testing. For offense, I think this is going to be a huge day. Oh, is it running backs to wide receivers? I'm going to say it's more important for wide receivers. There's a log jam at wide receivers. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are both not playing. It's going to be all about seeing Josh Palmer, Joe Reed, KJ Hill, Jason Moore. It's going to be tough. There's going to be talent that is going to be cut from this team at wide receiver. So this is a big day for the wide receivers. And on defense, I'm going to say just the safety position as a whole. I think we know Derwin James is going to be playing, but Nazir Adderley needs the reps. I love his game, but he needs just more and more reps, the better. Mark Webb is going to be playing, so we're going to see a lot of Ben DeLuca. We're going to see a lot of Alohi Gilman. So that I think the secondary is going to be something to watch for. Defensive line, interior as well is probably a 1B for me. I think folks are trying to figure out what this interior is going to look like with like a Jerry Tillery, a Justin Jones, Cortez Broughton. We know Linval Joseph's a mountain. He's going to be fine. But that interior, Christian Covington, there's a bunch of guys in the interior that are going to be fighting for positions on this team. So those are kind of like the main positions that I'm looking for on the Chargers side. On the Rams side, I mean, you obviously don't have any issues with quarterback.
Nope.
What are the main storylines on that side?
Yeah. And sorry guys for crying in the background, but it is really
Mia's like me. I'm the storyline.
Yeah, always. I wonder if she knows I'm in here. I have the door open, but we'll see. She'll meander on in here anyway. But no, I agree with all those on the Chargers. Kicking, I think, is going to be the huge storyline. I mean, the kicking is going to be absolutely fascinating to watch, and I'm so curious. We talked, Dan, when we were live last week, if what they're going to do, if they're going to give like a kicker a game, if they're going to rotate every quarter, because kicking is such a rhythm thing too, that it's almost not fair if you have one guy go kick a field goal and then no attempts through 2 quarters and then throw a new guy out there in the 4th. It's like you almost want to see a guy in a real live game for the entire game. So I kind of hope they go 1 kicker per game, but I don't think they will do that. But that'll be interesting to see.
It would be a good idea, but I think they're going to try to accelerate this a little bit to where like I can see them trying to get a view of all these kickers every day as much as I can.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I mean, imagine if Michael Badgley goes out week like today, and then goes 2 for 4 or something, and then you don't see him again. Everyone's gonna be wondering like, yeah, he's definitally toast. Yeah. But then like if Michael Badgley goes 4 for 4, and then Vizcaino comes out next week and goes 4 for 4, like it's gonna be wild. Honestly, this kicking game is so up in the air. I know Chargers fans are just like, you've got to be kidding me. Can someone please just be a good kicker? Like it shouldn't be that hard. Yeah. But apparently it is for the Chargers.
I asked Gilbert Menzano of the OC Register last week if he could ever see a world where they bring in a 4th kicker if they don't feel confident enough. And he said, no, I think they're good with these 3 guys. So we'll see with that. But anyway, for the Rams, so Walford's not playing either. So not the backup either. So there's going to be a lot of Bryce Perkins and Duck Hodges are your 2 quarterbacks. I'm assuming they'll get a half each. But I agree with you. I think the receivers as well for the Rams is going to be interesting because the Chargers have a lot of depth, have a lot of talent. There's going to be guys that don't make the team that we picked up by other teams. But the Rams literally have 5 spots locked. Like all 5 of their spots are locked. So they basically have 1, maybe 2 positions open with a lot of talent vying for those 1 or 2 spots. So seeing how Tristan Jackson, Jeremiah Hadel, JJ Koski, all these different receivers, how they're going to fit in there and what they're going to be able to do in these, in these preseason games to where they can make a name for themselves. And maybe another guy that can touch on that's blessing us with his presence, Dean Vespi, the Rams brother. What's up, my man? Welcome.
What's up, guys? How we doing? Look at that yellow Chargers jersey. Looks awesome.
Looks good, right? Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Coming from a Rams fan, I love it.
Well, we've been craving the yellow jersey on our end for quite some time. So I don't know. You think looks like you guys have done it pretty well. So we might have to back off.
Or you could just take those colors too. It's fine.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you guys have like 8 colors now, so we may add another 3 colors of the rainbow. And
we're taking the whole swatch at this point.
Who wasn't that? We're off topic, but who cares? Wasn't that like Pro Football Talk that all of a sudden like had a report like, oh, teams can only have 3 colors, and it's like, bro, have you been watching? Like, teams have like 8 already. Like, what are you talking about?
He's the biggest Chargers fan ever, Mike Florio. So.
And he's a Rams hater, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. So what you guys were talking about? What Jeremiah Haydell?
Yeah, so we were just touching quickly on 3 big storylines for each unit. So and Dean, I apologize. You're hearing my daughter in the background, so sorry for the crying.
You're good.
I don't know what's going on with her, but they're hopefully just not tearing down the place. But so storylines on offense today, on defense today, and on special teams. Dan already touched on the Chargers. I was talking with the Rams. I think the receivers are going to be really fascinating to watch because how they have 5 guys pretty much locked in. So you're looking for 2 at most spots available, probably 1. I don't know if they'll keep 7 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as I got. So I'll throw it to you, being our Rams correspondent. After recording this morning, still keeping the pipes going good, going strong.
I'm trying.
Rams football. So what are some 3 storylines you're looking for in this game?
I'm looking at J.J. Koski. My prediction with him was that, we may see some trickles of Nelson Spruce. We haven't produced the episode yet, so that prediction's not out in the airwaves yet. But I think J.J. Koski is a guy who can compete for a special teams role, right? I think Ben Skronik, too, the late round, 7th round draft pick out of Notre Dame. I haven't heard a ton of him out of camp. I've had more positive storylines and headlines about J.J. Koski. So I'm excited to kind of come in and see what he can do. And if he can come in and earn a spot on that 53-man depth chart. I think he's a guy, ton of versatility. You go back and watch some of his YouTube clips. He's a deep threat. He can line up in the slot. He may do a lot of things similar to what Nelson Spruce did, where it won over a lot of fans. And big shout out to JJ, just followed us on Instagram. So depending on what we post here in the future, he may be unfollowing us soon, but who knows?
Good luck with that.
Yeah, so he's a guy that I'm looking at from a special teams perspective, see if he could win a role. I don't think we're going to see him in the punt return role. I saw a tweet from Jordan yesterday where it looked like Haydell is going to be in the rotation with Akers and Calais and Tutu Atwell and Jake Funk. So I think the big storyline there too is who's going to win out that role. I love Tutu Atwell to be a guy that just comes in and wins that role too, but I think he had a botched return. Was it the Cowboys open practice or one of the open practices, Ryan? I think you were at. So I think he's a guy who's going to be heavily evaluated. But whoever it is, I just want him to be able to field a punt and, not fall in that bottom 3 category in terms of special teams and production and yards per return, which clearly hampered the Rams last year. So those are my two big things, I think, is what's to come on special teams. And then if there's a receiver in the bottom tier of that depth chart that can come in and win a role in special teams. It's
just, it's silly to me almost how similar these teams are in certain ways. Like both teams are searching for their return man. Luckily, the Rams found their kicker in Matt Gay last year, but it took them going through 3 different ones. Now the Chargers are in that boat again, looking for a kicker. So it's crazy how intertwined these teams are, and we'll see it unfold today. So
who is it? Who is the Austin Proehl for the Rams? Like, who's the dark horse that has come out and shine to where they might be taking the starting role as kick returner / wide receiver 6 or 7?
Yeah, no, I want to say it could be J.J. Koski. It could also be Tristan Jackson. Is another guy who's been around for a couple of years. 6'1", he's pretty slender. I think he reminds me a little bit of Josh Reynolds. So he could be a guy who's pretty consistent. He's been consistent throughout camp, who might come out and fill that void as a bigger-bodied receiver. He's really kind of the guy that I'm thinking of that's been sticking out, that I know he's going to be in the starting rotation tonight, so you'll probably get a lot out of him.
Yeah, that's what makes these games fun, is that we can see all those guys that if you haven't been at training camp and haven't seen, you'll see now live and see them go against. So on defense, Dean, I think we know what to expect from the Rams defense, but at the same time we don't, with this new, Raheem Morris coming in with the new scheme. We know our big starters with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and some of the guys on the outside, but there's still, David Long, I would think, was going to get potentially some reps just because he's slated to be the starter on the outside, but still a new role for him. The defensive line, you have your big three with Donald, Sebastian Joseph Day, and Ashawn Robinson, but then you have, young guys, Ernest Brown, who's been with the linebackers and the defensive line. So who do you kind of looking for tonight on defense that you're excited to see what they can do with a lot of reps they're going to get, because you're not playing any of the starters like always?
David Long Jr. is my guy. I think he's listed behind Jalen Ramsey right now on the depth chart, but where do you see him in a rotation of defensive backs? Right, because if you potentially put Terrell Burgess, which I think it was probably 2 or 3 weeks back, where Kevin Demoff came on the 11 Personnel podcast, and I think he said Terrell Burgess is going to be the guy that's able to fill the void for Troy Hill. So if he plays that nickel role, right, so then you have 4 other defensive backs potentially you could rotate in on the field. Is he the odd man out in the equation when you factor in some of the safeties that you could rotate into, Fuller and Rapp? So he's going to be a guy where, you're looking for a lot out of him. You think he could potentially assume the Jalen Ramsey role, or maybe they move him around in the star, and maybe they move him around outside. But he's going to be a guy where I think you got to have a lot of attention on him, because you have no idea really what he can become until you just let him get the reps. I think he's been pretty solid so far, but he's a guy that you definitely have to watch. I think he's one of the bigger storylines.
Yeah, absolutely. And with so much responsibility thrust on him quickly, and big shoes to fill, it'll be interesting to see how he takes that on, and who will be covering in tonight's game. Dan, do you see Josh Palmer lining up more in the slot tonight on the outside? How do you see his role? I don't think that's really that important, but it will be important, I guess, who he lines up against in this Rams team. So where do you see Josh Palmer playing, and how do you think he performs?
Given who's not playing for the Chargers today, I think he's going to be more outside. I think going to try to get a lot of reps at inside for folks like Austin Proehl, KJ Hill, Joe Reed, things like that. I mean, during regular season, I think Josh Palmer can kind of play anywhere, but I think today I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the outside and let those smaller wide receivers kind of battle it out. Because I think they're the ones that are trying to prove something. And Brandon Staley talked about, like, he's going to have people out there that need to prove things. I don't think Josh Palmer needs to prove he can do the slot. We know that he can do that. He's a pretty polished route runner already. He's a rookie. Those other guys are trying to prove themselves.
Yeah, I agree. Dean, I have to ask you, since I haven't talked to you about this, and they won't play tonight, but what's your thoughts on this whole center gate going on with Brian Allen now as the new starter at center and moving Corbett back over? Chargers fans should be happy, actually. They at least know their line is set. I know it's all different, and it's all brand new guys, but they're set. Rams fans had a virtual heart attack a few days ago when Rams announced that Corbett no longer going to be the center, and they're going back to Brian Allen, who not a lot of fans feel good about after 2019. What did you feel when that came out?
When it came out, I was upset. I wanted to see Austin Corbett in that role. I think he's a bigger body. Plus, he's played the left guard and the right guard role, so he knows both sides of the line really well. I just have more confidence in him as a player. Right, from what you saw with Brian Allen in 2019 was, 9 games of poor performance, and then he got hurt. And then last year he had COVID. So it's been a combination of just recovery for him. But I don't know, I was saying this to Nick. I think the way that McVay hypes up players, right, where they came in from camp where, they were going through all this training in the offseason, and they've come in stronger, they look more productive, and they could do all these things that they haven't been able to do in the past. It's just not something that I believe in over a 16-month span, 17-month span where a player can turn into somebody that they're not. So he's a concern for me. So I'm just kind of sitting here waiting to see how it all unfolds. But I don't see them, going against the idea of potentially rotating Austin Corbett back in that role if Brian Allen does struggle. Because I like what Bobby Evans did in 2019 when he had some time at right tackle when Rob Havenstein went down. So there's a lot that they could do on the line. I just don't like that it's set yet. Or it's not set yet, rather, right? That's what is, I think, the most aggravating thing for Rams fans is there's too many question marks, and there didn't really have to be. So,
yeah, and when you go through all camp, all mini camp, all OTAs with Corbett as your guy, and then the final 2 days at camp, you're like, we're going to switch it up and change. A little concerning heading into now preseason games. Do you think we'll see? I asked Jordan this, and she didn't know for sure. She didn't expect it. But do you think we'll see Brian Allen at all tonight? I mean, he hasn't been playing with the ones at all training camp. Do you think we'll see him a little bit, or do you think McVay will hold him out like usual?
I mean, I don't see why not. If you're trying to get somebody reps, you might as well be able to rotate that guy in. But McVay said 35 players aren't playing. So So that takes into consideration, right, all 22 starters on offense and defense, and then, roughly 13, 14 guys that aren't playing too. So that could mean Brian Allen. So you may see Coleman Shelton there, right? I think there's another guy, his name's slipping my mind, that may rotate in there and get some snaps at center. But maybe you see him early on with the ones in the first series for a little bit. So we shall see.
Yeah, excited to see the line play of both these teams and see how the depth is behind the starting five. So let's get into some predictions. It's preseason, doesn't matter, but there's not a lot to talk about. So let's get in. How do we see this game going? I mean, it's going to be backups against backups for guys like us. I think I love it. Like, I'm so excited to see the depth of both these teams, see these rookies play, see guys that people might not know about. I call this the preseason, like the Mountain West football of the season, and then we'll get into like SEC and Big Ten play once week 1 comes around. But Mountain West football is still fun football. I mean, I love me a Colorado State Wyoming border war game. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's get into that tonight. So Dan, what do you see? It's hard to, and I know you haven't watched any of these backup Rams players, but how do you see this going? Do you see the Chargers backups overtaking the Rams, or what's your prediction?
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a barn burner. I'm going to go like 54-49. We're going to see no. I'm going to guess. This is probably going to be maybe 1 touchdown per team and then a bunch of field goals. And honestly, if I'm a Chargers fan, I would love to see the Chargers just get in field goal range and don't even try to score a touchdown. Like, just get in field goal range, try to hit field goal. Like, just go. Just kick 18 field goals today. That's fine with me. Yeah. I'm going to go somewhere like, I don't know, 19-17 somehow. And
always random scores.
They don't call me Chargers homer for nothing. I'm going to say Chargers win this one. Last second field goal.
Okay, here's the better prediction though. Over under. We'll get a pickup prop bet on the site. Who kicks that game-winning field goal of the 3 competing kickers?
Oh man, Chargers fans are going to be in their feelings if it's Michael Badgley. But
is it safe to say Chargers fans kind of want him to fail? They're just ready to move on from him.
It feels that way. It feels that way. Like, I feel like people just it almost has a sense that they just want to rip the Band-Aid, just like set him out off to sea, get some fresh blood. And I think folks want Vizcaino or Kissman to win it. Like, they do. You feel bad for Badgley because, like, at one point he was automatic. But for whatever reason, like at this point, especially in this day and age, like, you got to be able to be relied upon for those long field goals. And he just hasn't been. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah. So who's kicking the game winner? What's your answer?
I'm going to go with my boy Vizcaino. I'm hoping it's Vizcaino. I don't know if it's going to be, but that's what I'm hoping it's going to be.
Okay. Yeah. He's the guy I'm rooting for too also. So, all right, Dean, you're up. What are you feeling the outcome of this? And who's your, I'll add a layer. Who's your MVP in this game?
Going against this vaunted Chargers second and third string defense.
I don't an MVP in a preseason game. I don't know about all that. Prediction. I don't know. I like Brandon Staley to get an edge on McVay probably late on in this game. McVay's not going to be calling any plays. It's going to be all Kevin O'Connell. So I don't know if that's McVay's way of kind of stepping back and saying, oh, well, I'll let Brandon win this one. Obviously, results don't matter. They have a lot of evaluation to do. Maybe you throw Brandon a bone and let him get a win. So I don't know. Maybe I'll say Chargers. I'll go Chargers 17, Rams 14. And my MVP for the Rams will be Jake Funk. Jake Funk will have, 9 to 10 carries for over 50 yards and maybe a touchdown.
Love it. We didn't talk. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to ask, do the Rams, I'm assuming it's probably the same, but Brandon Staley's talked about, like, there really isn't much that they're looking to gain from, like, these games as much as they do in practice and, like, on their training against other teams, not preseason. Are the Rams looking for anything in particular? Like, are we going to see, other than, like, people just fight it out for depth, like, are they going to glean much from this?
Well, I think they have to glean on special teams, right? I think you could almost evaluate top to bottom everything that's going to happen with special teams. So I think that'll be fun for fans to watch and for the staff to watch. But I think outside of that, it really is all depth evaluation, right? There's nothing really crazy that's going on. It's a very similar methodology where you're resting starters and you're just trying to see who can play, who can't play, what kind of rookies can kind of step in and fill a void. I think the inside linebacker is going to be fun because the Rams had like one inside linebacker last year with Kenny Young. And Troy Reeder came in, which came off the practice squad from UDEL, a couple of years ago, and actually like hung around on the team for a while. So they've had no depth at that position at all. We want to be able to see some guy come in and be a thumper, a true Mike linebacker. And I think they have one on the roster in Ernest Jones. But we'll see. I think the defense as a whole is going to be fun to watch. I mean, I know I would flip the same question over to you. I don't know. I know next to nothing about the Chargers defense. So what are your expectations? Because I know Brandon Staley is defensive back heavy. So do you guys feel like you have the depth there to be able to handle what's going on in the league right now?
We've talked about the depth at some of the positions of secondary as potentially being a concern up until camp started. And we saw 7th round pick Mark Webb start looking very good. The team has talked up Alohi Gilman, which is a depth piece. Nazir Adderley is starting to shine a little bit here and there. We also got Asante Samuel Jr. in the draft, who has been looking fantastic so far. So as of now, I think our view or outlook on our secondary is much better than it was, say, a month ago. But the one thing we've noticed, and you know this because he was on your team for a while, like the defense is just so different from what we've seen in the past from the Chargers.
Yep.
And so like there's so much more action going on. And like even just going to camp and watching the secondary, like people are everywhere. Like it's hard to like report on the scheme when there really isn't a scheme. Like that's kind of the point.
Yeah, it's all misconception at the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's the same thing McVay's doing on the other side of the ball, which is why they were the perfect pair. So it's kind of sad to see them move on. But the cool thing about what Brandon Staley's able to do, he wasn't able to do this with a player in Taylor Rapp, which I think Raheem Morris is going to be able to get a little bit more out of. He's more of like a hybrid guy that could play a little bit inside in the box, play a little bit linebacker as well. But a player that isn't really a truly developed defensive back may come along a little bit quicker in Brandon Staley's scheme, which I think is always going to be something that's exciting to watch for you guys, because players that are, maybe feel like a little bit slower in the system that are starting to develop a little bit more, that will be escalated with Brandon Staley. You'll find him putting players in the right position, where they're just disguising things, right, in certain looks and nickels and dimes and dime plus, where there's so many things that are happening behind the scenes you can't even really tell. But it's because there are 6 guys that are so versatile that are on the field, and Staley's so good at doing that. So that's why I think he got the job.
It's funny, the Chargers, one of our Achilles heels with this team is the lack of development. And, some could say it's lack of talent. Some could say it's lack of development. It's kind of both sides of the same coin. But seeing guys like a Brandon Faison, seeing guys like deep in the roster that are getting the opportunities and are going to get kind of brought up, I think that underbelly of the Chargers roster has been like, it's just Achilles heel. If somebody goes down, the gap in talent between the top end and the bottom has been so drastic. Whereas now, like, we're seeing guys perform and we're seeing other guys step up and other names, which I think that's kind of like a moniker of a Staley or McVay scheme, where like it's a team thing. It's not one player. It's not just Aaron Donald for you. It's not just Jalen Ramsey. Like, there's a bunch of guys that contribute. And I think that's what's exciting for the Chargers so far at camp.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see your best player rotate in a nickel role in the weirdest time in the game, and all of a sudden it works to your advantage, right? A 3rd and 7, it's batted down by your best player in the best spot where they need to be. So all of a sudden you have a scheme that puts players in the best possible position. So I'm excited for you guys. I mean, he's the odds-on favorite to be the coach of the year this year. I think he's like plus 1,000, which is a hell of a bet, right? If you want to throw $10 towards it, that's where my money would go.
If you were, and Ryan, I'm curious for you, if you were to, let's say this was a regular season game.
Okay.
Who are you most scared of on the Chargers on both sides of the ball? Like, I know for the Rams, folks are going to say like Matthew Stafford is a baller, and the folks are going to say it's going to be Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. As long as we can somehow get away from them, like, we'll be good. Like, who is it aside from Justin Herbert? Obviously, like, who scares you on the Chargers?
I mean, the obvious is Justin Herbert and Derwin James. I mean, those are the obvious ones. But if we want to pull away the obvious ones, and Joey Bosa too. Don't want to throw any disrespect to him. So, I would say the edge rusher number 2, whether that ends up being Uchenna Nwosu, who is truly the starter, if they throw Kyle Frackel out a lot more, or if Chris Rumph, who I know you're pumped on, Dan, has had a great camp. They've talked about a ton. I think he's going to just keep his role growing and growing and growing because of his size and frame fits so good with what Sealy does with his pass rushers. Now I can't say right now that's the guy that scares me the most just because he's not there yet, but it's got to be someone in the secondary because of just how much they use DBs and how different schematically they do, as Dean was saying. So aside from Derwin, I've been saying all offseason, I think Chris Harris Jr. is going to have a huge bounce back year. You can't call him a breakout player because in year 11, but within the Chargers system, he can be a breakout player because he had kind of a down year last year and battled injuries. And I think you're going to see him ball out this year. And he's a guy that, I know very well, plays for my childhood team. I know how good he can be, and he can really be a game changer. And no one's talking about it. Like people kind of they're talking about Sonny Samuel Jr. with all as they should be. Derwin James, Nasir Adderley. No one's talking about Chris Harris Jr. And I think he's going to have a huge bounce back year and get himself paid because this is his contract year. Get one more contract going out. So he's a guy I'd look for in the division. And then on offense, who scares me? I mean, again, the usual suspects, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. But if you want to do someone different, I think Austin Eckler, because I think he can be so dynamic in this new Lombardi offensive system where we've seen him just make Alvin Kamara, who was a 3rd-round pick, into a top 5 running back in the game because of how versatile he can be. So Austin Eckler's a guy that, are you going to put a linebacker on him? Are you going to shade him with are you going to take one of your corners to cover him out of the backfield? Like, how are you truly going to cover Eckler? Because when he gets in space, he's going to kill you in small chunk plays consistently. So not doing the usual guys. I'll say Chris Harris Jr. and Austin Eckler. If that's fair.
That's fair.
Okay. I don't know if you needed to counter that or not.
No. I mean, I guess the only counter would be don't sleep on Josh Palmer.
Of course.
I think for folks who do not know much about Josh Palmer, under the radar pick, went to Tennessee. His quarterback was horrendous in college, but he has looked so good for these Chargers, and players and coaches alike are raving about this kid. Clean route runner, can go up and get it, not slow by any means, has all the right tools to be, I forget who it was, but somebody equated him to be looking like a little similar to like a Des Bryant type. Which if he could be Des Bryant, we'll take that to the bank.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think you'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's wrap up with this. What do you guys, I will be at the game. Can't wait. Getting ready.
You're going.
Soon. Heading to SoFi, baby. Yeah. So looking forward to that. But what are you guys doing for the game? Dean, where are you watching it at? Or you got wedding plans, or what are you stuck in?
Yeah, I mean, it's 10 p.m. Eastern over here when the game starts. So I'll be on my
screwed. You guys get screwed with games.
We're so screwed. I'll be on my couch drinking a beer. I'll just be at home relaxing with.
You got any Brewery X left with you, or
what's that?
You got any Brewery X left, or are those all tapped out by now?
No Brewery X left. I got to get them, express shipping over there from Anaheim to New Jersey, which I don't think they're doing right now. But I'll probably go pick up some whiskey or some IPAs or something like that. So
okay.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Nick's going to be there though with you, Ryan.
Nick's going with me. We'll be sitting together.
I'm sorry ahead of time.
Don't apologize to me. I guess apologize to my wife because she's going too. Maybe.
Okay, Ryan. So you're apologizing for him. So what kind of fan is he live? And Ryan, I'm also curious about you. What kind of fan are you live at games?
I'll let Dean go first.
What kind of fan is he? Well, he's loud. He likes to consume. He'll constantly ask you if you want something to drink, which is good. And he's always bringing some kind of food down from wherever he's at. So I think it'll be fun. It's not a regular season game, so obviously not everything's on the line, but he'll be very verbal. He won't be aggressive towards Chargers fans, which is good. There's no animosity there. I think if somebody says to him, oh, this is Chargers house, this is our house or something like that, he may go back at you. But he's pretty fun to go to a game with. So you guys will have a good time.
Looking forward to it. Dan, your question, I'm pretty reserved, especially, with these two teams, since I've become a fan of both of them and I root for them, but I do more there in a professional sense. So if it was like a Bronco game, a little more stressed out and high strung. But I've lessened it even now with Bronco games because I'm so consumed with Rams and Chargers games because obviously I have to watch every one. It's like even Broncos games, half the time I don't even see anymore. I do some checking the box score afterwards. So,
Drew Lock, I don't blame you.
Everyone hates him. You guys wait.
Yeah, you're gonna wait until you get another quarterback is what you're gonna be waiting on.
Yeah, you're gonna fall asleep, man.
He's gonna be fine. Dean, what's that shirt you're repping? Is that one of the new threads?
So new threads. Yeah, we just got it delivered yesterday.
There we go.
Yeah.
Rams Brothers Apparel on LAFB Network. Those
LAFBnetwork.com/what is it? Locker room. LAFB locker room.
Yeah, LAFB locker room.
And you're there. Get your gear.
Go check those out. So, all right, Dan, where are you watching the game? You just staying home, or you got plans as well?
I'm not sure what we're doing. I think we're going to go out and explore. We might go to Laguna Beach today. So I'm not sure where we're going to be, but my wife knows we're going to be watching the game somewhere. So hopefully, if it's going to be local, I'll be able to get some Brewery X at whatever bar I'm going to be at. Otherwise, I'll be home, and I'm stocked full of Brewery X, so I'm cool with that either way.
There we go. Win, win, win. Nice. So, and I will be at the game. So make sure if anyone's watching is going to be there, hit me up. We'll love to say hi to you at SoFi. We'll be up top. We'll be fairly high up there. But hey,
there isn't a bad seat in the house in that stadium, though.
Exactly. So, well, good. Looking forward. I never gave a prediction. So I'll throw to end it. I too think the Chargers will pull away with this one. Just the 35 players sitting out for the Rams. How McVay does things. Staley's going to be very similar in that, but I think he's doing a little bit more evaluation, being a brand new head coach with a brand new team, whereas McVay kind of knows what he has minus the rookies. So I do think the Chargers pull away. I'm going to go with a little more scoring because I think Chase Daniel's going to play, right, Dan?
Is it Chase Daniel or Easton Stick?
Well, I know Easton Stick will for sure play, but I think Daniel's playing too a little bit, right?
They probably. I would imagine they're both playing.
So a little more high-profile quarterbacks than the Rams are playing with. They're playing with their third and fourth stringer. So I think they'll get a little bit more scoring. I'm going to go with 28-24 Chargers. I'll keep it close as well.
You going be a great game. You going Duck Hodges 3 touchdowns, Ryan?
No, I'll go Bryce Perkins 1 or 2, and Duck gets the last one. Or we'll get Jake Funk in there for the end zone.
There you go.
And we should see Xavier Jones, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, me too.
Xavier, I think he's the slated number 2 back that a lot of people are pumped on, but haven't seen since college. So I'm excited to see him out there running. So
I think Chargers are going to get a pick 6. Calling it.
Pick 6. Okay.
Pick 6.
Okay, there we go. End it with this. Rapid fire prop bets.
Over under 2.5 turnovers.
Ooh. For the game or for 18?
For the game.
I'll go over.
I'll go over as well. Yeah, I think we'll see 3.
Same.
Yeah, 3 sounds good. That's a good line you set there. How about punt return touchdowns?
0. Whatever it is, under.
There's my prop. Rams to return a punt.
Okay.
Oh.
Rams return and who returns it? Hadel?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Over under ghost appearances by Mia.
Well, we're at 1 now. She finally, I don't know if you guys heard, she's literally been crying this entire time. So I'm shocked that she just now stopped. I don't know why maybe she didn't know where I was. Let's go over under 1.5 muffed punts.
Oh.
I'll go over.
Over?
I'm thinking under.
I'm going to go under.
Over under missed field goals collectively.
What's the number?
I'll do 2.5.
Under.
Yeah, I'm going to go under.
Oh, that's bold. I'm going over.
I guess I don't know enough about the Chargers kicking game.
You don't.
Yeah. That's still a fair number for them to miss, even with the Rams making all their kicks. Dean,
well, so. Are we getting Matt Gay or Austin McGinnis? That's the big question for us.
Yeah, because Matt Gay is like kind of locked in, right? To take it, but they just have
McGinnis
definitely. Is just a camp leg.
If they go McGinnis, I'll go over that number.
Okay, so we'll see. I'll let you know at game time who's out there kicking in warm-ups.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, one more each. Let's drop one more each, and we'll wrap up. Who's got one? What do we say? Turnovers already. We got some special team stuff. Oh, sacks. Let's do sacks. Over under 5.5 total sacks.
Over.
I'll go under.
Under.
You got some mobile guys that'll probably be throwing the ball all over the place.
You are right about that. Mobile quarterback, other than Chase Daniel, but Easton Stick, Bryce Perkins, got some mobile guys out there. But I'm going to go over as well. I think
we'll revisit.
We will.
Coaches challenges. 0.5.
Okay.
I'll go over.
I think we'll see at least 1.
Yeah. Something dumb.
We'll see 1.
Yeah.
Okay, last one, Dean. What do you got?
Oh, off the top of my head. How about forced fumbles?
Forced fumbles. Okay.
What's the line?
1.5.
I'm going over. I got all kinds of faith in these defenses. Let's go.
I'm gonna go under just because I hope both these running backs can for their sake, because you fumble in a game, that might be it when these running back competitions are going on. So I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, scary.
So,
We don't need any of that.
no, absolutely not. So, all right, fellas. So we all had the Chargers winning, but should be a good game. Finally getting football back. Looking forward to talking to you guys throughout the game. Appreciate you both for jumping on with me on a Saturday, LAFB Live. Thank you to all the listeners out there that jumped on with us and watched us. Why don't you each plug your respective shows and everywhere they can find you and all your other stuff you got going on. Dan, I'll start with you.
Dan Wolkenstein, part of Chargers Unleashed. You can find us on Twitter at LAC_Unleashed. My co-host at Jake T. Hefner, and myself at Chargers Homer. We try to do at least a few times a week. Try to get awesome guests, fun, interesting, authentic perspectives on all things Chargers. We try to have some fun.
Latest episode for them, T-Billy, Tyron Johnson was on the show. You got it. Make sure to check that out.
He was
awesome guy.
So fun.
Is he going to be wide receiver 3, you think, when it's all said and done?
No.
4?
3 or 4.
Okay. They'll all get used. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Check them out. You can find everything on LAFB Network. They got a homepage on there. Dean, plug all your stuff.
Yeah, you got it. I suck at this. Dean Vespi, podcast at Rams Brothers on Twitter, on Instagram as well. I'm at Dean_Vez on Twitter. Nick is at Nick Vez on Twitter. You can find us wherever you want. Social media, we got new merch out on LAFBnetwork.com. We'll try to be wherever you guys are.
There you go. Love it. Yeah, check out the new merch. They got Rams Brothers and Rams Sisters merch. Love it.
Ooh.
Representing.
You got it.
It looks good.
For the men and women in your life.
There you go. Yeah, we got Christmas is 4 months away. It's never too early to buy.
Between Rams Brothers and Sisters and Manscaped, we got all of humanity covered.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. One thing at a time. Yeah, I'll
leave it there.
So, all right, fellas. Appreciate you. Enjoy the game. All right. Be safe. Be healthy. We'll do this again very soon. So take care. Thank you all for listening. This is LAFB Live. Enjoy the game tonight, and we'll talk to everyone throughout the rest of the day. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on, Ryan.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.